First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, appreciate all of you joining us. Of course, we are live streaming on our website, on our apps, and on our social media channels. You can join in conversations there or share the show. Go back and watch episodes once we're done with them and all of that. And, you know, we get to have some great conversations here as part of what we do with Fox 12 Now. And one of those is talking about some of the great nonprofits and charitable organizations that are helping people out here in the Northwest. And, of course, the Dougy Center is definitely one of those. They've had an fundraising organization going on since the start of October called Focus on Hope. This has been going on where it's encouraging people to help them out. We're going to get into the details on that, but it culminates in an event coming up in here in November where they're going to be actually celebrating some of that and talking about some of the people that they help out so much. But to get really into it, let's bring on the expert in the situation here. We've got Brennan Wood, the executive director of the Dougy Center. And Brennan, you know, really appreciate you joining us and, of course, everything that you do. And one thing, you know, for everybody that we talk to here on the show, I love to just have you tell the story of your organization. For anybody who doesn't know, who may be unaware of it, you know, maybe a little bit of the history and just what all the Dougy Center does.
Sure, I would love to. I'd love to talk about Dougy Center because it's such a just important organization here in Portland, and the work we do is so critical. So Dougy Center provides a safe place for children and families who are grieving to share their experiences before and after a death. So we provide peer support. We provide support to kids. They come together with other kids who've had a similar experience in their family. And we have been providing that support since 1982. Dougy Center has served over 60,000 kids, teens, young adults, and adult family members after a death. And we also have a Pathways program for families where a family member is living with an advanced serious illness, so before a death as well. Dougy Center has been a critically acclaimed model, and we have been training folks for over 40 years on how to support children and families who are grieving. And there's now over 500 programs across the country and around the world that are based on the Dougy Center model.
That's amazing. So 500 programs just around the country that are working on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's, you know, you mentioned just such a wide breadth there of different ways that you help people out. Can we go into some of the more specifics just so people can understand some of those examples of situations they may be going through where Dougy Center can help them?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. So one thing just to share with you and your viewers is that I actually went through the program back in 1987 when I was 12 and my mom died. And I was lucky enough to get to come to Dougy Center in the aftermath of her death. And what I can tell you is it was, you know, the single most helpful thing that happened to me in my life during that time. And what we really provide is an opportunity and an outlet for kids and families to come together. They get the opportunity to share their experience, to share their stories, and express themselves in all sorts of ways. So we have art, we have music, we have theater and dress up, we have talking and games specifically to help kids share their stories. Every group is ongoing, so kids can be in the program as long as they need to be at Dougy Center, because what we know is that grief is not a 6-week program, right? Grief is a lifelong journey. And so we welcome families to come to Dougy Center. All of our services, all of our resources, we have hundreds of free resources, tip sheets, materials, activities, all of those resources and our support groups are provided at no cost to families. In a typical year, we serve upwards of 2,500, almost 3,000 people a year directly in in-person support. Last year, we answered over 25,000 calls for support and information and resources after a death. And we trained over 10,000 people. So we're doing a lot with a small but mighty team and nonprofit here in Portland.
Well, I mean, that's, again, amazing and incredible, just that part alone. But as you mentioned, you know, everybody's process going through something like that, and especially for a child, who's going through that. It's got to be a different path, a different process for every individual. And, I'm curious for you, you said you were there when you were 12. You went to Dougy Center for help overcoming that loss. How does it feel now after all these years? After you received that help, now you're executive director providing that help for others. How does that feel for you personally?
Yeah, well, of course, it's incredibly meaningful to be able to be a part of an agency that provided so much to me. That's wonderful. I volunteered as a teenager. We rely heavily on volunteers, and that was also a wonderful experience for me. And you mentioned, I've been on staff now for 19 years and executive director for the last 8. And I think for me, coming full circle and being able to truly support families that were like mine and kids that are like me is so meaningful. And I think, a lot of times when people hear what I do, they think, gosh, that's really nice, but how many kids does that really impact? And the reality is, in this day and age, especially, 1 in 12 kids will have a parent or a sibling die before they turn 18. And those are actually pre-pandemic numbers. We're just learning the impact of we estimate 375,000 kids had a parent or a caregiver die of COVID during the pandemic. So, it's actually it's a public health, it's an emerging public health situation that we as communities, as a country, really need to address, because unsupported grief can have outcomes for kids and families in our communities that we really want to avoid. So for me, it's just a privilege and an honor to be at Dougy Center to carry on this critical work and this critical mission. And obviously, I'm very passionate about what we do and feel really strongly that kids, need to be centered and need to be cared for when hard things happen.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a huge number that you just put out there. And that's, again, another fallout or repercussion of what we all went through a few years ago that, that leads to, of course, the unfortunate passing of so many people, but then also the fallout of the grieving side. And are they getting that support? And who knows where that can branch off from there. And you, as you mentioned, have helped so many of those kids out, though, of those children. And you mentioned that it's a small but mighty force. So if you could talk about that, just a little bit more about the organization itself, and then we can get into, just how you fundraise and how you're able to support this many programs.
Absolutely. So we are small but mighty. We are, based, our primary location is in Southeast Portland, and that's where we've been for almost 42 years now. We have a satellite location in Canby, Oregon, and we have a partnership that helps us to provide support out in Beaverton. And at those 3 locations, we provide 79 support groups twice a month. And so for families who, are interested, they can find free resources online. They can connect with us, and we are direct support. So we answer the phone when people call, and we can, provide help, provide services, connect people with, get their questions answered, and provide support with direct support through our peer support program, as well as resources. And, we have been a nonprofit here in Portland for 42 years. We have just under, I think we have 28 staff people now. So we're growing. We are definitely growing. But we do all that we've been talking about here with a relatively small team. And we are growing. We have seen unprecedented demands for our services. And so we definitely are growing. We don't rely on any government support, and we don't get any insurance reimbursement or anything like that. And as I mentioned, all of our services are free of charge to families. So as a nonprofit, we really rely on the generosity of this community, both through volunteerism as well as through direct support of our services.
Well, and Focus on Hope has and is part of that effort.
Yes.
And I think for everybody, if you can, let them know what Focus on Hope is and how this entire fundraising event is transpiring.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we know to be true is that Dougy Center really offers a lot of hope and a lot of healing to kids and families. We asked kids recently, what does hope look like for you? What is hope? And the responses are just amazing. You know, they're funny, they're whimsical, they're heartfelt, and kids really get the opportunity at Dougy Center to share their story and acknowledge the hard and the painful things that come with that, and also get the opportunity to share that story, get more comfortable with that story, and eventually at times even make meaning out of that story. And so Focus on Hope is an online campaign that's culminating with a luncheon, really to help share that message with our community. People can join us online. You can check it all out on our website, which I'm sure you'll link to, but also is dougy.org. And the Focus on Hope Challenge is kind of a peer-to-peer ask where lots of folks have decided to create a fundraising page in honor or in memory of someone in their life who's died, or just generally to support Dougy Center. But they're creating an online profile, a page that they can share with their community and ask folks to come together to help us provide hope and healing to kids and families. So the online campaign is happening now, and it's happening up until we have a luncheon. And the luncheon is on November 8th. And it is a Focus on Hope luncheon, which we hope that the community will come out for and support. We're really excited about this year's program. We're going to have a panel of teens and kids from Dougy Center there to share their story. Our host will be Tony Martinez, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and he's going to be hosting this event. Channing Frye, a former Trailblazer, he is going to also be at the event and up on stage sharing a little bit about his story. And really the focus there will be on kids and teens being able to share their experience, both of the impact that has happened because of the person who's died in their life, but also the impact of Dougy Center and the powerful hope and healing that happens here within these walls.
That is so meaningful, in so many ways, and actually hear the stories of them. And that's all culminating in that event that's happening. Yeah, as you mentioned, Tony Martinez going to be there. Channing's actually been here on this show too, Fox 12 Now.
Great!
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a great way to honor these kids and these children and what they've gone through, and all of these different stories, and being there to help them all out. And that's what your organization's done. That's what you've been doing. So that's really, really amazing.
Well, one thing that happens a lot is that I think we think kids are resilient, and kids are resilient. They absolutely are, but they're not resilient in a vacuum. It takes a community of people to come together to support kids and families in the aftermath of really hard things. And this community has always supported Dougy Center in such a beautiful way. And we rely on that support. And so just like we come together to provide a community of support for kids and families at Dougy Center, the Portland community comes together to provide a beautiful community of support to us. And we're so grateful for that. And we hope that this event, both online and in person, will feel like a true celebration of that, and also a beautiful window into the important services that Dougy Center provides.
Well, I want to reiterate again, and I know you said it once, but just to reiterate it, for everybody out there who wants to support, who wants to help, who wants to fundraise or donate, and then also for people out there who, may end up needing services, may end up needing help, to make sure that they know, should that event happen or should somebody they know be going through something like that, where to go. So what again is the best place to go to?
The best place is to go to our website, which is Dougy, DOUGY.org. There's a banner on the homepage that you can click on, but you could also put in dougy.org/hope. But again, Dougy.org is the best place to go to check out the Focus on Hope Challenge, the Focus on Hope Luncheon, get support and resources. We certainly want to be here for for the community. So if there are folks that need our resources, please come and check that out. And then of course on social media, folks can check us out there as well.
Well, Brennan, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here to talk about this and to share, what it is that you're doing and helping out so many different people and, thousands of people, and also just how people can help you out. And so really appreciate you being here on Fox 12 Now to talk about all of this.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's wonderful to be here with you today.
Well, thank you for what you do. Really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
For everybody watching too, again, this is Fox 12 Now. So we are live streaming here every weekday at 1 p.m. Here at the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. That's where we're going live from, and we get to talk about a lot of different things here, whether it's deep dives into stories that you see on the news, you want to find out more, we'll have the reporter on, or finding out about amazing organizations like Dougy Center, or interviews about all kinds of things. So we cover a lot of topics here, and all of those interviews and all the things that we cover, you can find those at the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel or on our app. Download the Fox 12 Oregon app, just click the Fox 12 Now button. All the videos are right there. You can check it all out. You can share videos, let other people know about it, and share things like this about Dougy Center. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to sign off for right now. If there's breaking news, you'll find me back here this afternoon. Otherwise, I'll talk to you tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.